Hey there. I am so excited to share some cocktail ideas with you for the upcoming holidays. And holidays don't necessarily have to revolve around the alcohol part of your dinner, but for many people, that is a big part of it. Um, a really good go to all the time is a sangria because that kind of meets everybody's needs. And you can make a sangria very simply with a bottle of your favorite wine and then either diet or regular soda mixed at about half to half. So if it's a quart of wine, then you would add a quart of soda. And what makes it look even more festive is the garnish that you put in it, whether it be strawberries or raspberries. For a little bit of green color, you might add mint. Grapes, especially frozen grapes, work really well in a sangria because it allows them to also double as ice cubes so things don't get quite as watered down. And then there's always apples. You can always do an apple in a sangria or even blood oranges. Any of the citrus family works really well in a sangria. When you're thinking about alcohol for your family and cocktails, it doesn't necessarily mean that it has to have alcohol content. The celebration part of it is what's important, the gathering of family, and whether that's done with sparkling red grape juice or sparkling white grape juice, that's totally acceptable as well. This is a really good addition if you have people that tend to overindulge. You can add this to any kind of a punch as part of the bubble, the effervescent part of it, but it will also make it feel like the champagne is stretching a little bit farther. Of course, you know, everybody's favorite for a morning gathering is a mimosa or Bloody Marys, and both of those are very festive just because they have lovely additions and lovely garnishes. One of my favorite things to do with just a regular bottle of champagne is just a couple of raspberries in the stem of the flute. And then as the champagne is added, it makes it bubble even more. And then the fruit tastes really good when you get to the end of your glass. I'm sure you've seen bartenders use a slice of lime as a wedge, another good green color to add to anything that you're doing. But here's an additional one, just a piece of grape. Just slice your grape in half and garnish the top of your glass with it. It just makes it look really pretty. And mint, there's just something about the smell of mint. Doesn't necessarily have to be flavoring, but it looks really pretty if you add it to as a garnish, like into the champagne flute that I just showed you with the cranberry or with the raspberries in it. Look how pretty it looks now and how perfectly festive for the Christmas holidays it would be. So any of the garnishing that you can do with your beverage is always better. I do have a couple of signature cocktails that I like to make when I'm entertaining, and I'm going to give you just the rough ingredients for them now. And know that the e-cookbook that's being put together for this video series will have the exact recipes in there. So I have two go-tos. One I just took to an Oktoberfest and it had a huge impact on the party. I'm not sure if it was good or bad, but it was a lot of fun. And that is chocolate-covered pretzel shots. So that is simply, and you'll have to pardon me as I reach over top because there just wasn't enough room for me to have everything here in front of me. So chocolate-covered pretzel shots are equal amounts of Frangelica and then a chocolate vodka. So I have chocolate whipped here, but I think, I forget what company it is that makes the double chocolate vodka, and either one of those are fine. The tip for this is that you have to have this as cold as possible. So I will put it in the freezer ahead of time just so that it's easier to mix the shots. Now, when I mix it to take to a party like I did for the Oktoberfest, I mixed it in bulk and then I used shot glasses, like the Jello shot glasses with the lids. so that I could prep them ahead of time, keep them in the freezer. And then when it was time to leave, all I had to do was grab them out, put them in a cooler bag, and off we went to the Oktoberfest party. So chocolate covered pretzels are one of my favorite types of shots. The trick when you go to drink them is you have to lick your hand and salt it. So before you take the shot, you lick a little bit of the salt, take your shot, and then drink another little bit of the salt, or lick another little bit of the salt. And it really crazily does give you the taste of a chocolate covered pretzel with a little bit of a kick. They're not wicked strong. So if you're not someone who normally likes shots, I would say give this one a try because it's pretty good. And my favorite cocktail is called a whiskey relaxer. And that has 2 shots of Jameson whiskey in it. And then it has 1 shot of a pomegranate liqueur. I happen to have Pama, but I have used other brands as well. And then the 3rd shot that goes in there, and it's a full shot, is St. Germain's, which is an elderflower liqueur. So you have a shot of liqueur, a shot of the pomegranate liqueur, and then 2 shots of Jameson. So that's 4 ounces of alcohol. And then you mix that with a small can or half of a twist top small bottle of either ginger ale or Sprite. And diet works just as well for either one of those. But that's called a whiskey relaxer, and that's one of my favorites right now. Also keep in mind that anything frozen is really festive as well. And if you have seen those packs of wine coolers that you just open up the squeezy container and dump your bottle of wine in and put it in the freezer, you can do that and control the alcohol content and the ingredients by just taking any bottle of wine and putting it into a plastic bag that seals. And what I do when I put these in, when I'm going to do this myself, is I double bag them because I want to make sure that nothing's going to leak out. But you just take that bag and you put it into the freezer and you let it start to freeze up. Alcohol will not freeze. So some of your wine will come out a little slushy and some of it will come out really well frozen, depending on where the alcohol lies in the bottle. But it's a great way to make anything festive. Freeze your wine, and then you can add bubbly to it. You can just add fruit to it. You can just scoop it out and have it be a frozen drink, or you can simply just serve it like that with a little bit of Sprite or a little bit of ginger ale or a little bit of champagne, and add some bubble to it as well. So lots of fun things. I think the biggest thing to remember is it's about being together around the table. It's not so much about what you're eating or drinking. And the eye appeal of doing the little extra things with garnishing your drinks is what really sets you above the rest when it comes to holiday entertaining. So I hope those tips were helpful. Enjoy your holiday season as you gather with family and friends, and make the most of those moments because you'll never get them back. Thanks. Bye.